Hello, everybody, and welcome to a special edition of my mini art talks for Memorial Day. I was thinking about what painting to do to honor the day that we honor the men and women who have given their lives for us during conflicts. And of course, I immediately thought of doing an anti-war painting. And so I decided to do this painting. And I hope that you will enjoy it. And I'm going to make myself a little bit smaller here so you can see the entire image. Now, this painting is by Paul Rubens, and it is called The Consequences of War. It was made during the years 1637 and 38, and it is now found at the Pitti Palace in Florence. Now, Rubens was a Flemish artist, and he was also, so interestingly, a diplomat, and he is considered probably the most influential artist of the Flemish Baroque period. This painting, which is full of large and energetic figures, was commissioned by Ferdinando Due de' Medici, one of the Medici family. And it was done specifically to serve as a commentary on the European continent, which was being ravaged during the 30 Years' War. And as you can see, it's full of energy and emotion. Now, we are very, very lucky because Rubens himself told us what almost every image in this painting was meant to represent. And he did this in a letter that he wrote to his friend, Justus Stuurmans, who was the court painter to the Medici family. So I'm going to read you the letter as I enlarge the painting so you can see what he's talking about. So let's start here. He says, the principal figure is Mars. See Mars here, and I'm going to get closer to it for you. The principal figure is Mars, who has left open the temple of Janus, which in time of peace, according to Roman custom, remained closed, and he rushes forth with shield and blood-stained sword, threatening the people with great disaster. He pays little heed to Venus, his mistress, who, accompanied by amours and cupids, strives with caresses and embraces to hold him. From the other side, Mars is dragged forward by the Fury Alecto with torch in hand. Nearby are monsters personifying pestilence and famine, those inseparable partners of war. On the ground, turning her back, lies a woman with a broken lute. She represents harmony, which is incompatible with the discord of war. There's also a mother with her child, indicating that fecundity, procreation, and charity are thwarted by war, which corrupts and destroys everything. In addition, one sees an architect thrown on his back with instruments in his hand, to show that what in time of peace is constructed for the use and ornamentation of the city is hurled to the ground by the force of arms and falls to ruin. I believe, if I remember rightly, that you will find on the ground by the force of arms, you will find on the ground under the feet of Mars a book and a drawing on paper to imply that he treads underfoot all the arts and letters. There ought to be a bundle of darts and arrows with the band which held them together undone. These, when bound, form the symbol of concord. Beside them is the caduceus and an olive branch, attributes of peace. These are also cast aside. The grief-stricken woman clothed in black with torn veil, robbed of all her jewels and other ornaments, is the unfortunate Europe, who for so many years now has suffered plunder outrage, and misery, which are so injurious to everyone that it is unnecessary to go into detail. Europe's attribute is the globe, borne by a small angel or genius and surmounted by the cross to symbolize the Christian world. So that's what Rubens wrote in his letter, pretty much describing almost every single thing in this painting, and how lucky we are to have this, to have the artist in his own words telling us why he put certain figures and symbols into the painting. Now, in his role as a diplomat, Rubens lobbied all of the European heads of state for an end to the 30 Years' War, and he did this with considerable passion and cleverness. And this unique position that he held as both a master painter and as a trusted diplomat clearly informed every single thing that he has done here in this work. The painting shows his sincere desire for peace and also his justified horror at the tragedy of what was going on for 30 years during this war. Of course, sadly, he died before the Peace of Westphalia when the war was over. So I am thinking about Rubens on this Memorial Day. And again, as we're honoring all of those who lost their lives to keep us safe and to keep us free, and I'm also trying to imagine a time when that kind of sacrifice will no longer be necessary. Perhaps it's a pipe dream, but that's what I would like to think about, a world that hopefully we'll start making today if we can. So I hope you've enjoyed this little look at the consequences of war by Peter Paul Rubens, and that you will also join me on Facebook. If you are on Facebook, you can go to my Art Talks page. I also upload these videos to my YouTube channel, and you can find me there as well. Please subscribe and leave comments. I'm also on Instagram, Art Talks with Janet, and I have a web page, and here's the URL up here. And I've put on the web page my schedule of my online talks if you go to the schedule tab. Most of the talks that I had scheduled for this spring, of course, have been canceled, but I am doing several of them online, and so I hope you'll join me through them. So enjoy your Memorial Day if you are celebrating, but keep in mind that it really shouldn't be a celebration, but a sober and a somber remembrance for all of those people that we admire for doing what they did for us. So thank you very much, and I hope to see you again soon.